Hi, I'm Emily Catherine. So I grew up in the church. I grew up going to church, and it wasn't really hard for me in growing up to have a deep and firm relationship with God. I always tried to seek after Him and seek more of Him, and I would spend time in the Word, and that wasn't very difficult. But I got into a relationship last year, or 2 years ago, and it ended up ending. The relationship ended, and whenever it ended, I was so distraught and so brokenhearted, and it left me just devastated. And because of this devastation that I just felt wounded and isolated, and it caused me to stop seeking out the love of the Lord, and I still continued to seek out the love of the boy that I was dating or had dated, and that's all I wanted, and it just consumed me, and I just wanted to feel known and loved by this boy, and I was so brokenhearted and so wounded that I didn't care about God's love. I didn't care about choosing Him or seeking Him anymore. I was just desperate for the love of that guy, and I ended up just sinking into a depression, kind of, and it caused me just feel really lonely and really hurt, and I just kind of reached the bottom of this hurt and suffering that I was feeling, and I knew that seeking the love and satisfaction of this boy was never going to fulfill me and never going to make me feel whole and worthy, and I was just seeking, just filling myself with emptiness and filling myself with these empty feelings and empty fulfillment. And so I started going to God in my pain and in my suffering and in my hurt, and I finally started to feel whole again, and I started to feel loved, and not by this empty love of this boy, but by the full love of the Lord. And once you feel that love, it just fills you, and it's still hard. I still have to think every day, like, I need to seek the full love of the Lord and not the empty love of someone who can't fill me and can't satisfy me, and only God can satisfy me and fill me. And He, once we grow deeper with Him, go deeper with Him, that's the only way that we can be full and be filled and truly know what love is and what it means to be known and to be loved.
Hey guys, I'm Liz Freeman, and I just wanted to share a little bit of my testimony with you guys. So I would have to say that it started around when I was 7 years old. I grew up going to First Norfolk. Like, my parents always brought me. I would sit in the pews and hear like stories about God and about Jesus, and I thought that was pretty cool. I knew about God, but nothing ever really changed in me. Like, I didn't have a response to the gospel. And so when my friends started to walk the aisle and like go give their lives to Jesus, I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Like, I could do that. And so I did. Like, I walked the aisle, I prayed the prayer, I did what I was supposed to do. And but there was, again, like, no response. And so, like, that's how I lived my life, like, with my church self, with my mask on, like, all through middle school and even into high school. Like, I just did what I was supposed to do, and there was like a church self, and then there was a school self, and there was no like evidence of the gospel like changing my life. And so when I was at student camp in 10th grade, I just like remember one night, like in evening worship, like the Lord kind of like grabbing me and being like, Elizabeth, are you gonna choose me or are you not gonna choose me? Like, it's time for you to take off your mask. It's time for you to be real and be honest. And I think that was like the first time that I remember like saying yes to God and like knowing that he was worthy of like everything, like all of me. And so I definitely think like going deeper with the Lord definitely requires you to say yes, and it requires you to give 110% of yourself all the time. And I mean, we're gonna mess up, we're human, but you have to be willing and you have to say yes, like to God. Like going deeper is giving 110% of yourself all the time, like all you are for all he is. And yeah, so if that's every day, like having to say, God, like, yes, you're worthy, and yes, I'm gonna give 110% of myself, that's what you have to do.